How can a doll which was destroyed and buried long ago come to Jayantu's room after so many years? He got the doll when he was maybe 6 years old. Now he is 37 years old. You didn't see anything, did you? I said finally. No, but I could distinctly feel that whatever was walking on my chest had 2 feet and not 4. So Jayantu is insisting that the thing which walked on over him at night, that night, had only 2 feet and not 4. So it is definitely not a cat. That is what he wants to say. As we got out of the car at the circuit house, I decided that Jayantu must be given a nerve tonic or some such thing to calm down his nerves, to cure his fright, to cure his imaginations. A tranquilizer might not be good enough. I could not allow a 37-year-old man to be so upset by a simple memory from his childhood. Remembering something of his childhood had upset him so much, had worried him so much. So Shankar is thinking of giving him some nerve tonic to calm down his nerve, to reduce his fear and fright. I said to Jayantu upon reaching our room, it's nearly 12 o'clock. Should we not be thinking of having a bath? You go first, said Jayantu and flung himself on the bed. An idea came to my mind in the bath. So, while he was having a bath, he thought of something. Perhaps this was the only way to bring Jayantu back to normalcy. That is, to make him normal, to make him forget this obsession about this doll. If a doll had been buried somewhere 30 years ago, and if no one knew the exact spot, it might be possible. And if one knew the exact spot, it might be possible to dig the ground there. No doubt, most of it would have been destroyed, but it was likely that we'll just see a few things, especially if they were made of metal, such as the buckle of a belt or a brass button on a jacket. So Shankar is thinking of taking Jayantu to the spot where the doll was buried to dig the ground, and he was sure that the only thing that would be found when they dug the ground will be some metal. Maybe that is the buckle of a belt or some brass buttons. That is the only remains of that doll which would not have been destroyed completely. If Jayantu could actually be shown that that was all that was left of his precious doll, he might be able to rid himself of his weird notions. Weird, strange, weird, W-E-I-R-D, strange, unnatural. That was odd, no? So, if Jayantu could actually be shown that that was all that was left of his precious doll, that was all means only the brass belt, the brass buttons that was left, nothing else of the doll remained in the grave, he might be able to rid himself, to get rid of, to overcome his weird notions, to forget all these strange ideas about the doll being still alive. Otherwise, he would have strange dreams every night and talk of Fritz walking on his chest. So, every night, Shankar thinks that Jayantu will talk about Fritz walking over him. If this kind of a thing was allowed to continue, he might go totally mad. So, it is important that Jayantu should be shown the grave where the doll had been buried. Jayantu seemed to like my idea at first, but after a little while he said, "Who will do the digging? Where will you find a spade?" He is raising mild objections, showing that he is not very much interested in digging up that grave again. I laughed. Since there is a garden, there is bound to be a gardener, and that would mean that there will be a spade. If we offered him a little tip, a little money, I have no doubt that he would have no objection to digging up a bit of the ground near the trunk of the tree at the far end of the lawn. That is the deodar tree at the end of the compound where Fritz was supposed to be buried. Jayantu did not accept the idea immediately, nor did I say anything further. He went and had his bath after a little bit of persuasion. At lunch, he ate nothing except a couple of chapatis with meat curry. Although I knew he was quite fond of his food. After lunch, we went out and sat in the cane chairs on the veranda that overlooked the garden. There appeared to be no one else in the circuit house. There was something eerie about the silence that afternoon. Eerie, something weird, something strange, something odd. All we could hear was the noise made by a few monkeys sitting on the gulmohar tree across the cobbled path. Cobbled, I told you, covered with stones. The path is covered with stones. Around 3 p.m. we saw a man come into the garden carrying a watering can. He was an old man. His hair, moustaches and sideburns all were white. Well, you ask him or should I? Shankar is suggesting whether I should ask or you should ask about digging the grave of Fritz. At this question from Jayantu, I raised a reassuring hand. It is Jayantu who is asking, not Shankar. And went straight to the gardener. So Shankar had no hesitation in asking. So he went to the gardener and asked. After I had spoken to him, he looked at me rather suspiciously. That is, clearly, no one had ever made such a request. Why, Babu? He asked. I laid a friendly hand on his shoulder and said, don't worry about the reason. I will give you 5 rupees. Please do as you are told. 5 rupees many years ago was actually a lot of money. He relented, going so far as to give me a salute accompanied by a broad grin. The gardener is happy with the tip, with the money that he is going to receive. So he gave a salute and also he smiled. I beckoned to Jayantu. I called out to Jayantu, who was still sitting on the veranda. He rose and began walking towards me. As he came closer, I saw the pallor on his face. His face had become very pale. I did hope we would find at least some part of the doll. The gardener in the meantime had fetched a spade. The 3 of us made our way to the deodar tree. Jayantu pointed at the ground about a yard from the trunk of a tree and said, here, this is the spot. Are you sure? I asked him. Jayantu nodded silently. How much did you dig? At least 8 inches deep. The gardener started digging. The man had a sense of humor. As he lifted his spade, he asked if there was hidden treasure under the ground. He's just joking. He's saying maybe these 2 people are after some treasure. I had to laugh at this. But Jayantu's face did not register even the slightest trace of amusement. He's still very serious, still very gloomy. It was the month of October and not at all warm at Bundi. Yet the collar of his shirt was soaked in sweat. Because of his anxiety and worry, he is sweating. and his shirt has become wet. He was staring at the ground unblinkingly without even batting an eyelid or closing his eyelid. The gardener continued to dig. Why was there no sign of the doll? The raucous cry of a peacock, raucous means harsh, loud and harsh, made me turn my head for a moment. And in that instant, Jayantu made a strange sound. I quickly looked at him. His eyes were bulging. His eyes were looking with so much of astonishment and amazement. He raised his right hand and pointed at the hole in the ground with a finger that was visibly trembling. Then he asked in a voice turned hoarse with fear. He is frightened. What is that? The spade slipped from the gardener's hand. I too gaped at the ground. He too becomes shocked. Shankar also is shocked at what he saw inside the grave. Open mouthed in horror, amazement and disbelief. Not able to believe, but it is there. There lay at our feet, covered in dust, lying flat on its back, a 12-inch long, pure white, perfect little human skeleton. So the story ends there abruptly. We don't know whether it is a ghost or whether it is Jayantu's imagination or whether they are all imagining. You can also have your own conclusion for this story. Now, as homework, you can write a summary of this story, Fritz bringing out the supernatural element in the story, and also at the end you can conclude or give reasons, give an explanation as to what happened at the end of the story. You can use your imagination also and find a suitable ending for the story. That is, ending means whether it is a ghost or whether they are imagining, or how should it, a proper suitable ending for this story.